Feet flat on the floor, hips width apart, and be sitting right on top of your sits bones and shoulders aligned with the hips. And just lengthen your spine. And, this releasing is also part of this purification practice that we do every night. We're releasing things that no longer serve us, whether they be internally, the way we talk to ourselves, the way we talk to others. You might be wanting to release an old habit, an addiction, maybe a relationship of some kind that is not healthy or serving you or the other person. So think of it now. Maybe you can jot it down and see if it is still with you at the end of the session. Okay. So now take a nice deep breath and just relax and soften all the muscles in the face, the head, the scalp, the ears, the temples, the jaw, back of the head, the neck, the shoulders, the throat, and the chest, and all of your limbs. Kimberly also told us to reminded us this evening we're moving through Mercury's in retrograde. So as we move through solstice and this period of transition, astrologically, astronomically, there could be some major changes going on in your life right now. So the thing is, how do we steady our mind as we move through that process? And we will come out the other side. We probably always do. But just sometimes in the middle, it feels a bit messy. So the advice is to steady the mind, steady your heart. So just think, there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And this purification process is, it's basically a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind, so we can equally change that by creating positivity instead. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech. And then in general, regret all of the things, even the things you don't remember. Just regret that you may have hurt someone just by perhaps being insensitive to how they were feeling that day, and you made a joke or you looked at them the wrong way and you didn't recognize where they were at. So this reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, and we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. We cannot bear the thought of the future suffering that we ourselves will experience, and we know from our present suffering we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering, and also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. We rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has these methods that we can use to purify. So we are just not looking for a higher power to come along and take it all away, or rescue us, or tell us what to do. What we're doing here is looking to this Buddha who has these methods that we can use to heal ourselves. So this meditation, you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, facing the same way as you, this radiant, blissful, white light body. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit, and he's made a radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And this lotus, although born out of mud, is untainted by that mud, just like your enlightened potential, born out of delusions, yet untainted by them. And he has this radiant, beautiful face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up on a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion, and their being crossed represents the union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. Now we have this a little bit on compassion. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of someone you may have harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginning of time. And then think about those people who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because they're going to suffer as a result of the harm they've done to you. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And so now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahompe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajra Sattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajra Sattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of your speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, which overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just as when you walk into, as you fill up in the sink, like maybe a glass jar that had yogurt in it. Yogurt, I don't know how you say here. And then all kind of the milky residue just kind of floats to the surface. So this is the image here that's presented in the text. They also, Lama Zopa Rinpoche used to talk about the force of a hat being blown off the head in a wind. So it's actually kind of a forceful image. You kind of like as you push the this kind of nectar pushes all the negativities out of the top parts of the body. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. So next is the purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So again, the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and you flick on that switch, the light in the room that comes instantly dispels the darkness. So we don't often think of it that way. We just think, I'm going to turn on a light. We never imagine, well, I don't, that it's dispelling darkness. So think of it that way when it comes to Vajrasattva's, the light from Vajrasattva heart hitting your heart chakra, and all the darkness of the negativity of your mind just instantly disappears in the same way. So all your attachment and neediness and bitterness and anger and grudges and depression, resentment, jealousy, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mibiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mibiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mibiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mibiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mibiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mibiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mibiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think there is no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time imagine that Vajrasattva very happily sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even those subtlest imprints of negative energy. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mibiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mibiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mibiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida me boa, Sitokaya me boa, Sipokaya me boa, Anurakta me boa, Sawasiti me piata sawakama sita me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha ha ho Bhagawan, Sawatata gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahompe, and Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dinapatita, Dida me boa, Sitokaya me boa, Sipokaya me boa, Anurakta me boa, Sawasiti me piata sawakama sita me, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahompe and Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Didu Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ahompe and Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Didu Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpi Yata Sawakama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Hum Pe. So now feel completely purified, and even not one atom of negativity is left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. So really try and feel that, experience that. So we have a couple of minutes here. So really try and expand your mind. Maybe reflect for a moment about the extent to which your mind knows things, understands things, even on a subconscious level. So we come to the power of resolve, and this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. It's a really crucial one. And this is this determination to not harm with our body and our speech and our mind. And without making a decision, because nothing's going to happen without a decision, this aspiration to not harm again isn't going to happen. So Rinpoche used to talk about this aspiration becoming like a beacon that guides our body, speech, and mind in new directions, everything existing in the tip of the wishes. So think about something that you have been working on, would like to work on, something you'd like to release as we move to the lighter days of the coming season. I mean, you could get quite esoteric and release some of these negativities into light. Some of these old things, old habits, we can just dust them off and send them on their way. And we don't need them. We don't need self-doubt. We don't need insecurity. We don't need worry. We don't need this thought that we're not enough, that we haven't done enough, we don't give enough, we're not enough. We can just let all that go and replace it with something a little bit more self-affirming. Be your own best friend. Be your own therapist. This determination to not harm, to refrain from harming, to release harmful habits is what gives us the strength to change. But we've got to decide. So imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on emptiness. So in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. We can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And so make a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long, for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche's unmistaken reincarnation. I've had no news, so we have no idea what's happening. Then also for any of your own teachers, who you are, some of whom you are experiencing great benefit from listening to. So pray they live long. Okay, everyone, lots of love. Have a safe weekend. And thank you very much. Yes, thank you, James. Lots of love, everybody. Thanks, everyone. Have a good weekend. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you,